I am Samuel Kojo Brace, and this is Joy News Prime. Welcome. In our headlines, this special prosecutor secures warrant for the arrest of former Secretary of Defunct Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Charles Bisu. A court order has been secured empowering the OSP to find and arrest him, but Mr. Bisu's legal team is contesting this. Also, Speaker of Parliament directs that Jachi Kweson's name be brought back to Parliament's vote and proceedings, despite the Supreme Court ordering the House to expunge the name from its records, but backtracked almost immediately. Now, today on Ghana's Potholes exhibition, residents of Bokrom in Kumasi are wondering why government has persistently failed to fix their potholes. Now, former Secretary of the Defunct Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Charles Bisu, is today a wanted man. The special prosecutor has secured a court order allowing him to find and arrest him. Now, this order was secured after Mr. Bisu had failed to honor an invitation by the special prosecutor last month. Lawyers for Charles Bisu have, as a result, sued the special prosecutor yet again, alleging various human rights violations. They are additionally urging the court to set aside a warrant issued for Mr. Bisu's arrest. Legal Affairs correspondent Joseph Akable has been flowing this angle of the story for us and joins us with more. Joseph, do we know specifically why the special prosecutor invited Charles Bisu last month?
So from the information that we have picked up, it has to do with investigations into the activities of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. In fact, it is that particular investigation that yesterday we told the story of how the chairman of that particular committee, Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boakye, who attended to the invitation of the special prosecutor on the 16th of May and was put under arrest and subsequently granted bail. So it's the same investigation. But his situation, we can trace series of timelines. The first is that 3rd May, the special prosecutor wrote to Charles Bisu informing him that he's a necessary person for the investigation into the activities of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. He was asked to appear at the offices on 22nd May. But lawyers for Mr. Bisu wrote to the special prosecutor to inform him of two things. The first was that he was not able to make it on the 22nd, and they wanted to rather show up on 25th. The other request they made was that, as far as they are concerned, they believe that before the special prosecutor can investigate a matter, there should be either a petition filed by someone or a referral, either done by someone in authority or someone who, it's an investigative body, be it the police service, YOCO, or any of those investigative bodies. And so those were the requests that they made. The special prosecutor, we understand, replied the letter, but did not grant the request by way of the change in the day from 22nd to 25th, and also the bit about making available the petition that formed the basis for this particular investigation. And so it was on failure to reach that agreement on when to meet, and Mr. Bisu's failure to show up. In fact, he had told the special prosecutor that he's unable to make it on the 22nd because of a domestic emergency. So failure to meet the special prosecutor is what resulted in the special prosecutor initiating process to secure this warrant of arrest, which Mr. Bisu's lawyers are challenging.
Now, we know he is already in court against the OSP. How different is this from the previous?
In fact, this is the 3rd case that has been filed against the special prosecutor by Charles Bisu. And this is different in terms of the subject matter of the investigation. And so the first two has to do with the investigations that was done by the Office of Special Prosecutor relative to that investigative documentary, Galamsey 4, that was published by investigator Anas Arimia Anas. You recall that Charles Bisu was captured in that particular documentary, and so the special prosecutor was investigating that matter. So that is what the initial two suits relates to. For this particular 3rd one, it has to do with the current investigations, for which reason they are making similar demands like they did in the previous to that. They want the copy of the petition that has been filed, and again, they are saying that the manner by which he's going about the investigation amounts to an abuse of discretion and abuse of the rights of Charles Bisu.
You have been checking with Mr. Bisu's legal team. What do they make of the work the OSP is doing?
In fact, they take a strong view to the way he's conducting activities. I mean, lead counsel Nanaje Iwa has indicated that as far as they are concerned, they hold a view that it appears the special prosecutor is operating as some form of dictator in a democratic era, and that they do not think that the manner in which he's going about his investigation is anything that is permitted under the law. So they expect him to exercise good discretion in their opinion. But the OSP says he's determined, from what we've gathered, to investigate the matter and will continue with it using the right processes.
That's our legal affairs correspondent. Now, meanwhile, Nana Ejay Bafo-Ewua, who is lawyer for Charles Bisu, says although they have heard about it, they are yet to receive the arrest warrant issued by the special prosecutor. He, however, insists his client is not on the run.
I've heard of it, but your publication has also given me an indication, has also informed me, or basically an information. I'm yet to receive proper confirmation because I've not seen it. And so, therefore, I'm still giving the special prosecutor the benefit of the doubt because I don't believe he would do that, right? I don't believe he would, disregard proper discretion, right? There are 3 pending suits against the office of the special prosecutor. Charles Bisu responded, and I heard Joseph Akable read it on your network not long ago, responded by saying that, look, give me time, I will come, I intend coming to see you at a particular date. Now I have a domestic emergency to attend to. Charles Bisu also said that, look, what has able to allow him, you are only able to allow him about the question that you fail to make available to him. And you proceed to say that. And so, is it proper discretion? You rather wrote to him that you thought it prudent to invite him, right? Couldn't you have waited for that 1 week? Then, whatever necessitated that invitation, he says, produce that documentation to me. Why do you want to hold that documentation to your chest? Why? You see, my brother, we have transitioned from pre-1992 to 1992, to post-1992, right? Governed by the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. The tactics and the acts, right, which made us say no to the pre-1992 days, the military government, cannot become pervasive simply because of the office of the special prosecutor. In any event, the powers that the office of the special prosecutor exercises in our jurisdiction, right, is a chip of the powers of the Attorney General. Even the Attorney General will not behave that way. Even the Attorney General, the powers of the office of the special prosecutor, I emphasize, it's a chip from the powers of the Attorney General. Even the Attorney General will not behave the way the office of the special prosecutor is behaving, right? And so, my brother, we did not transition from military rule into democratic rule for the office of the special prosecutor become a pseudo-military agency to witch hunt and harass people. We need to respect the fundamental human rights of people under the 1992 Constitution.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Commission is insisting that his outfit did not fail in the fight against illegal mining, a reason the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining was constituted. According to Martin AEC, there were interferences from the former Minister for Environment, Professor Frimpong Boateng, which stampeded their work. His comments follow latest comments by the former minister that the Inspectorate Division of the Minerals Commission failed, a reason he had to step in to seal the lapses. Before we hear from him, though, let's listen to what Professor Frimpong Boateng said in his latest interview with Joy News.
We were supposed to do that, regularize things, and then back off.
But not to give licenses for people to mine.
You don't. Licenses is, what kind of licenses? See, permit so that they could mine sustainably. That's why we took them through to help them get their licenses, which are issued by Minerals Commission, because we don't. To get the mining license, you need license from Minerals Commission separately, EPA, Water Resources Commission, Forestry Commission. And the committee does not interfere in those things. When those things come together, and then we take the miners through the sustainable mining process at Takwa University and the other things. Then they are given the permit to go to their site and mine sustainably. because the Minerals Commission license is given by them and not by the committee. So we put everything together to make sure that they can mine sustainably.
But the Minerals Commission chair makes a point that legally, that wasn't part of your mandate. Well, your mandate was to check illegal mining, and theirs legally, by law, was to permit and license.
So I don't want to go into that. I mean, just plain old West, because I didn't create the thing. It wasn't from Bob who was issuing the thing. We didn't issue mining licenses or EPA licenses and so on. This was done by. That is why we created the software. You know, it's because the Minerals Commission failed. The Inspectorate Division failed completely. It wasn't working because they were to ensure safety at the mine site. So why were people mining and destroying the environment? Because it wasn't working. And that is why the committee was created. So we help ourselves strengthen these regulatory bodies, and then when that is done, the committee will be dissolved and they can carry on with their work.
We can now listen to the response of the CEO of the Minerals Commission, Martin A.C., in this interview with my colleague Samuel Kojo.
We have laws in this country. Okay? So should we get up and create vigilante groups simply because, let's say, in a particular area or suburb of Accra, people have been reporting crime, and let's say they are not getting the needed response from the police, or crime is happening almost practically every day, so people should wake up and turn themselves into vigilante groups and say, because people are stealing here or people are being murdered day in, day out, so the police has failed, so will now become some kind of a gang or a group to stop crime. No, we have laws in this country. Okay, at least then it's an admission that he was overstepping his bounds. But I don't think that should be a reason. Okay, or is it a case that if, let's say, a particular institution is not working properly, somebody should just get up and say, look, we're going to fix it just like that? It doesn't work that way. I mean, the laws are clear as to who does what. So if there is anything at all, resources to be channeled into supporting that institution to be able to do its work effectively and efficiently. Now, I'm saying those resources have been provided. Okay, and things are okay. Things are moving on very well. We might not solve all the problems overnight, but at least, as I speak to the small-scale miners, they'll tell you that these days, within a very short time, they process their small-scale licensing. The processing, regime has improved significantly. Government is also assisting them with mercury-free machine, so that they can stop the use of mercury. So a lot is happening.
So he's of the point that, his outfit alone cannot be blamed for the failure in the fight against illegal mining. He says that institutions like the Minerals Commissions were part, and you cannot yank yourself from the failures. It feels that he wasn't treated fairly, and an institution like yours can also be held responsible.
Sammy, I don't believe in blame game. I'm more interested in how to fix the problem. Let me tell you this. Maybe another time we will have a discussion as to the causes of illegal mining. You realize that if you really get to understand what causes or what is responsible for this illegal mining thing, you will not be saying what you're saying. Yes, there were some weaknesses here and there. I'll admit it. Yes. Why not? For instance, all of a sudden, when small-scale mining started 34 years ago, it was just in about 4 or 5 regions. Now we're talking about 12, 13 regions. And over the period, we were not everywhere. Okay, so that affected how often you have to go to the site and then carry out inspections. Now, Minerals Commission is now having offices everywhere where at least mining takes place, or potentially when we see some of mining activities picking up, we create an office. Yeah, we build one or we rent one. So things have improved.
Now to Parliament now, where Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has beaten a retreat after ordering that Parliament maintains the name of Jachi Kwesen in its records. Now the Speaker had said that the court order is not clear enough and Parliament as a whole must take a decision on it. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante has the rest of the story.
There is still considerable disagreement in Parliament as to what the Supreme Court truly meant when it ordered the House to expunge the names of Jachi Kwesen from its records. NDC and NPP MPs have been haggling on the extent of the Apex Court's directive.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know if I did not read the directive of the Supreme Court properly. The Supreme Court is asking for the name of a particular person to be expunged from the records as a member of Parliament. It is not my understanding that everything else that he has participated in doing in this House should be null and void, or that he has never been in this House. If you read the wording, it just says expunge his name from the records as a member of Parliament. If you recall, Mr. Speaker, several provisions state that the fact that the legality of a member is questioned does not nullify what has happened in this House.
To expunge from the records of Parliament his name and anything associated with him. That supposes that Parliament should consider him not having been here at all. And Mr. Speaker, I say this with reference to Article 2(3) of our Constitution that says that the orders of the Supreme Court pursuant to such an application ought to be followed rigidly.
The Speaker has acknowledged this difficulty. He initially directed that James Kwesen's name be maintained in Parliament's record.
Honorable Ablakwa has a case. Until we finally decide, the second part of what we are expected to do, the first part was the vacancy that has been created. That there is no controversy over. But the second part, that's the second leg we are struggling with. How do we expunge his name? And that's what I think you need to come in as Parliament. And clearly this morning you showed that there's really the need for us to think through this matter. I will advise and direct, in addition, the table office to still allow the name to appear until we finally decide on how to expunge the name. They said as a member of Parliament for Assin North Constituency. So we'll work on that.
But he beat a retreat almost immediately.
And so it can no longer appear in the votes and proceedings are still existing. There is no member now for Assin North Constituency. And so that cannot be captured in the votes and proceedings. And I think he's right. I think he's right. The challenge that we have is what to do with the rest of the name in the other records. And so those of you saying prospective, you know, when you are talking about prospective, there's nothing to delete or expunge because it doesn't exist at all. When you are talking about prospective, you only expunge something that is on record. And so I want to be guided on that because there are consequences. There is an effect, and we have to look at it together. Consequently, I have to review my order. Jachi Kwesen should, as from yesterday, not be captured in the votes and proceedings of the House.
To Assin North now, where government says it has nearly 120 projects currently ongoing in the Assin North constituency. These projects, government says, are intended to improve the standard of living of the people of the area and help them live comfortably. Ahead of the by-election on the 27th of June, your election headquarters has been tracking the project, finding out when the project started, where the projects are, which stages they are, and what kind of project government has pursued and is pursuing. Richard Kojo, our man on the ground, tells us how busy the constituency has been.
Welcome to the Assin North constituency. This is a constituency who are predominantly farmers.
My name is Charles Ohini Ando, DC Assin North.
Okay. So tell me the demography of this place.
Right, this is a Assin North district, one of the newly created districts. It was created in 2018. Yeah, the people living here in Assin North, most of them are Assin, but we have other tribes that also live in Assin North here. We have the Ewes, we have the Gandangwes, we have the Ningos, we have the Krobos, yes, and then we have the Fantis, and then Efutu. Some of them are also here. Mostly the people living here are farmers. Yes, they do farming. And then we also have other professional staff who also reside here in the constituency. The farmers in this particular community or in this district are rice farmers. Some of them are also into cocoa, but the majority of them are doing this rice farming.
Now the by-election beckons, and there are a lot of preparations that are underway, a lot of constructions that are underway. In your shots is a 32-kilometer road network that spans from the Assin Central constituency through to the Assin North constituency and beyond. Earth-moving equipment hammering their way throughout the constituency. Inner town roads in the Assin North constituency are receiving attention. The attention some of these projects never got months and years back. Here at Assin Breku, some electricity poles have to make way for the road construction. In their place, new ones are being fixed by the ECG for expansion of the road network. A beautifully constructed astroturf here at Assin Breku stares at residents as it awaits commissioning. It's a cocktail of reaction from residents.
If you look at the emergence of this development that is going on right now, you cannot see anything but to attribute it to the by-election. I've lived in this constituency, specifically Assin Breku here, where you are seeing this development going on. And in 2020, or prior to the 2020 election, we had this same, contractor come on site with his machines. And just after the 2020 election, when the then MP, Honorable Abnadura Mensah, who was on the ticket of the NPP, lost the election, we never saw these machines again. So you cannot tell me that it is not for this by-election that these machines has come back to site.
If you can see the excavators, they have been there from 2020. And then if you go to the AstroTurf, it started last year. If you go to the one district, one factory, the same thing last year. And if you see the pace of work in some of them, some of the contractors have money, so their work almost goes quickly.
DC for the area says these projects are old projects that stalled, and it took him several trips to Accra to get a certificate of the contractors finalized.
My name is Charles Ohini Ando, DC Assin North. After the election, the contractor left because he has raised some certificate which hadn't been honored. And then later he came back. So we have about 6 of our roofs which we started way back in 2020. And I can mention them, and they are living testimony to this one. Because over here, I did a short cutting here, together with the former MP, Honorable Abena. Yes, this is about 11 kilometers. That's from Breku Town Roads to Ninchiso.
So Kojo Nyako joins us live from the constituency now. Kojo, you've been there all this while. Tell us how the campaigns are shaping up in the constituency.
Very, very busy in the constituency. You know, this is a constituency with a population of about 120,000, and you see the NPP campaign team moving from one town to the other, the NDC also doing likewise. So today there have been several activities on the ground. Topmost of them are the construction activities, the movement of the machines that are constructing one road or the other, and they are also making sure that all the unfinished projects are receiving some kind of attention. So we can also see even some road expansion works that are being done with the electricity poles being moved. They've been taken out, and then new ones have been also erected very close, and they have laid the lines already. Now I am in the market circle here at Assin Breku, the district capital and the constituency capital, to speak with the people that are around on their perspective on the development that is currently ongoing here in the Assin North constituency. Hello, Nabaja Brother.
You're from Da Costa.
Da Costa. Now, Uti Kroma Hanot.
Hapana, I'm from committee chairman.
Now, the Kosovo constituency, hey, by election, I didn't know who is saying.
You, we only say, because they say, baby, I Ghana, I can't do. Barration, Mijidi say, Sisi and Ghana for us to do money to former. Ekrobia preso obenya balation in Puntu Adentia. If we say 1 pinua and 10 pound and put to a ekoso. And our Fabium soon say MP for no mabano. One you would my bedroom baby crampono, one shenia. Ekoso hano balation uti say ahoke kana ye ekoso ankasa in Puntu na started day eba wait say you normal pebi a she balation. So far, no beard no where they ever share balloting Jumedinum.
So he's espousing the significance of the by-election. Once the by-election was declared here, he's seen some developments have started springing up, and project that got stalled, the contractors have now returned to site. And so he says that it will get to a point that the country will be craving for by-election because they've seen the importance of by-election here. Sa teams mienu NDC ni NPP ni ade wadwene ye ho san Charles Opoku ene Georgia Chikwesin emfa na ojira
yo me NDC candidate mapa me NDC candidate mapa na wo hwe grounds a enye obi na be ka kire enye obi na be ka kire na de meeting say Charles Opoku o mu say waba oye candidate a wabe ginama NPP ba na ho odi ni sha ne mfi esha sabi ye hwe abledu a ye kali no satama ye election ye hu sa abledu a no ovim pa ba me de mani two former we ne mfi de esha
abledu a so sa mututia
omututia no ewo say two a omututia ni nyina say yepe ye kromuni jokwesi e free breku ha mapa
say chance so free breku
chance so free ha ba o kali wo ma we so hu say chance na ho de ni sha
carry on modern na o di carry on
kali a me di kali wo ma hu say o hwe fans na so far mu di jamjachikwesi achi na o hwe wo ma o mu di honorable Charles Opoku nso achi a so hu say difference here dey ewo
what their fans now they share. So this gentleman is saying that the support base of Mr. George Achikwesin, he feels is much stronger. There are more people following George Achikwesin than Mr. Opoku, who has just been elected to represent the NPP in this by-election. And so he feels that he is an NDC sympathizer, and so I think he couldn't have gone anywhere. Let me speak with you. Mameno Onkasa. Near Frost.
What your friend could be.
Na deɛ kɔ sui ti sɛ ɔmo yi kwan ne nneɛma ne ade nya ɔdwene ho sɛ
o ɛyɛ because ha nankasa asenduku nankasa yaka achi kakra sɛ nyɛ wo sade wo ya nka menyi ni sɛ bugubutu bɛkɔ so kra nka ɛbɛkɔ anim kakra ansa nanka ababe
sɛ kwan deɛ.
Well, apologies for the bad internet connectivity there. We're still working on it so we can have a better connection to Richard Kojo Nyako, who is in the Assin North constituency, specifically in Breku, where he's engaging residents of the community on what they do make of the sort of development taking place in the constituency. Ahead of the by-election scheduled for 27th of June, both the NPP and the NDC are undertaking vigorous campaigning in the constituency. Kojo Nyako report of several projects which are underway in the constituency, some of which have been completed, awaiting commissioning by the president. The AstroTurf has been completed. The road which begins from Assin Central through Assin North and beyond has been completed, awaiting commissioning. The residents, some of them are attributing this to the by-election. You heard him engage some people there. Well, so we will be there and we'll be bringing you more details from the constituency for you here on Joy News. Now, to other stories. The issue of discrimination against women has been on the front burner for decades, with many vigorous advocacies to clamp down on the menace. In today's edition of Joy News Remembrance series on Professor Amma Atta-Edu, we bring you extract from a piece, An Angry Letter in January, a creative masterpiece which speaks vehemently against discrimination, racism, and inequality at large, read by ace Ghanaian filmmaker Akofa Ajani.
Amma Atta-Edu's An Angry Letter in January. Dear Bank Manager, I've received your letter. Thank you very much. Threats, intimidations and all. So what if you won't give me a loan of 2,000? Or only conditioned by special rules and regulations? Because I'm not white, male or a commercial farmer? In relation to the latter, whose land is this anyway? I know that for what I'm not, you could have signed away 2 solid millions and not too many questions asked. Of course I'm angry. Wouldn't you be if you were me? Reading what you had written was enough to spoil for me all remaining 11 months of the year plus a half. But I won't let it. I had even thought of asking God that the next time round He makes me white, male and a commercial farmer. But I won't. Since apart from the great poverty and the petty discriminations, I have been very happy being me, an African, a woman and a writer. Just take your racism, your sexism and your pragmatism off me. Overt, covert or internalized. And damn you.
That's a beautiful letter written in January there by Professor Amma Atta-Edu. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more stories. Stay with us here on Joy News Prime. Let's do some politics. A new Patriotic Party flag bearer aspirant Assin Kojo Brace is hoping to raise 5 million cedis from Ghanaians to support his bid to become president. He's targeting to raise the amount from 500,000 donors in 18 months. He made this known Thursday when he launched a crowdfunding initiative in Accra dubbed Ketua Biaransa. My colleague Carlos Caloni has the rest of the story.
The launch of the Assin for President A4P crowdfunding campaign, dubbed Ketua Biaransa, is expected to raise 5 million Ghana cedis in 18 months from 500,000 donors. Donors have the options of using either the Assin Cash app, the website, or the ISSD platforms to donate. Speaking at the launch, Assin North said he will run an all-inclusive government based on 3 pillars for a rapid economic transformation if he becomes the NPP flag bearer, then president of the country.
There are 3 things that I want to draw your attention to. First is about inclusiveness. I want to run a government by the people, for the people and of the people. It is about technology and innovation. The technology and innovation allows for inclusiveness. The Tosumiensa is about mobilization of money. Menfa mensa enkobo abai musika se medebaya politics. Because Samuel Brace, the president DDR, for you now our prosecutor, politics. Even if it is 1 city, it's an investment.
On his part, Greater Accra Regional Coordinator for the Assin North campaign team and Member of Parliament for English Yamanfro Sylvester Tete said, contrary to claims that Assin is begging for cash from poor Ghanaians, the initiative is a partnership between the aspirant and his supporters.
Somebody said this morning when I was granting an interview on radio that Alan Cash begs for cash. And I explained that Alan Cash says job for the people, cash for the boys. And if you heard him when he officially announced to this country his intentions to contest that Kitwe Bielsa, I refer to it as a partnership for power in 2024. For the vision that we all believe will transform this country and for the young people of this country to have a future. When you have a job, you have cash in your pocket.
Now, with state institutions failing to patch potholes, some residents of Bokrom in Kumasi are filling them up with coconut husks. The residents say the poor nature of the roads is causing serious accidents. Laura Fem's Nana Bwache Yadom exposes the dangerous Bokrom pothole reading road on this edition of Joy News Ghana Potholes exhibition.
You get a cup and you say cheers. One road, several potholes.
But some things need to be said and let's start to the basket.
A good number of roads in Ghana are left with dangerous potholes. Major road networks in Kumasi are no exception, as the roads are inundated with deep circular depressions. Some motorists have experienced the damages that go beyond mechanical repairs in these craters. Before you can move straight from this particular stretch to wherever you are going, you must pass through this particular pit. The well-adorned road is now a death trap with praiseworthy traffic growth. Potholes have developed on this road. They refuse to work on just this particular stretch. We've complained so much about the traffic over here. It is obvious that these potholes are fast developing into manholes, putting the lives of motorists and commuters at risk. But state institutions in charge of covering them up show up at work and do nothing about it. Several potholes. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, sir. They be a
To some of these road users, this is a life-threatening pit.
Almost there 3 months, number 2 accidents.
I came across an accident almost a month ago. As government institutions yawn on patching up the holes, some residents fill the riddled bitumen with debris to lessen the impact of vehicles slumping into holes. Sometimes they attempt to fill these holes with just anything, sometimes with coconut husk.
I started
using this road around 1994. This is a busy road, but government isn't ready to fix it for us. We, the drivers, could fix it ourselves. This is very disheartening.
So feel free to tweet at us with the hashtag GHPotholes. Tell us what's the nature of the potholes in your community. Well, let's move to the Dr. Hilary Mann Technical University now, where a 1,200 bed capacity student hostel, 10 number 40 unit staff accommodation and the University Campus Road project have stalled for years. Speaking at the fourth congregation of the university in Wa, Vice Chancellor Professor N.K. Sole said the delay in completing the project is impeding administrative and academic works at the university. Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Very little has changed in its infrastructural development since it was converted along 9 other polytechnics in the country into technical universities and renamed Dr. Hilary Mann Technical University. Since its establishment close to 24 years ago, it has been run without hostel facilities. A 1,200-bed hostel facility that was started almost 2 decades ago, along with its lecture theater, has still not gone beyond the first floor. The project has been abandoned by the contractor and now overtaken by weeds. Vice Chancellor of Dr. Hilary Mann Technical University, Professor Elias N.K. Sole, expressed worry about the continuous delay in completing projects which he said is impeding administrative and academic work. He called on organizations and individuals to partner the university to construct hostels on a public-private partnership arrangement.
Also, the 10-number 40-unit 2-bedroom staff accommodation project awarded in October 2008 are being executed by 9 different contractors and are at various stages of completion, with an average rate of 60%. Mr. Chairman, a faculty building project which was awarded on contract has been abandoned for several years now. It was abandoned at the foundation level, so you can't easily see where it is because the foundation is buried in the ground.
Another challenge which was replete in the speech of the Vice Chancellor of the Dr. Hilary Mann Technical University are the dusty and bumpy roads. The 80-man road project began in 2019 and was expected to be completed in 2021. Work has still not been completed.
The long delay in completion of work has made inner roads on campus unattractive and unbefitting of a university campus. These roads, which contain a lot of potholes, are dusty in the dry season and hold stagnant waters in the rainy season. This affects students, staff, and other road users, particularly visitors to the campus.
Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Sali noted that government was aware of their challenges and assured them of fixing them.
The government of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is aware that as a new university, you are confronted with an array of infrastructural challenges, including lecture rooms, office space, accommodation, and student hostels. I assure you that with the government's commitment to supporting tertiary education, these challenges will be a thing of the past.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wah.
Well, Michael Okome of the KNUST Technology Consultancy Center, UNESCO Category 2 Center of Excellence, has been able to apply plastic waste in many sectors of the economy. As the world marks World Environment Week with plastic pollution in focus, we put a spotlight on how he is using plastic waste from the sea to improve soil fertility. Love FM's Kwesi Deborah has more for the Tech Thursday.
I first saw an article video of a lady lecturer in India who's making, turning plastics to diesel fuel, and at that time she was earning like 200 million a year just by selling to pragya. India has a lot of pragyas, so that was what she was doing. So when I started my research, with the plastics, with the water filter membranes, and then doing cook stoves and all those things, this idea was lingering on. So what kickstarted the whole thing was more of out of annoyance of why Ghanaian scientists, researchers, professors are not able to solve the problem. And we're just talking about a problem and giving some interesting solutions, which were for me. So I started with a million, did a small pyrolysis, some things, and then that is what happened. Then, of course, you did your try and error. There was a time I got funding and I had to tell the financiers that, hold on, let me understand, get confidence in what and how and where the whole system works. And then I can come for the money. And then after I acquired all these things, the funding didn't come because it's gone past that opportunity. We had 2 drums of a diesel petrol, and then Ghana Climate Innovation Center bought these fuels and I used it in their car for their road show in 2015, 2018, thereabout. So we have a feedback report, written report from them. And individuals have used it. Recently, our collaboration with Legon shows that when you use a fuel, the petrol one, you use less gallons. Like
in a captivating display of determination and skill, Bomper Senior High Technical School left their competitors outstanding as they claimed the last available spot in the Western Regional Qualifiers. With a good combination of knowledge, wit, and their secret weapon, they promised to make a mark in this year's contest. They let my colleague Michael Ashale in on their secret weapon.
In a spectacular show of knowledge and wit, Bomper Senior High School has managed to qualify for the nationals. Let me ask some of the students, how does it feel to qualify?
Oh, we are very, very happy. We are very happy to win this competition. Yeah, we are very, very happy.
Was it a tough competition? Would you say it was a tough competition? Would you say it was difficult?
No. They are very, very cheap. They are very cheap schools. They are very cheap schools.
See, what about you? What do you think?
This is the best competition I've ever seen. Yeah, this day. Today is now the competition that we have now. We had it now. It's the best competition today.
But he says the schools are cheap. The schools are going to meet our bigger schools like the nationals.
We don't have bigger schools. We are all schools. We don't have bigger schools. We are all one. We are all human beings. What they have, we have. What they have, we have some.
So what would you tell them?
They should expect more from us. More from us.
Okay, so you just heard from some of the supporters from Bomper Senior High School. Well, for them, the nationals is nowhere to be afraid. They are definitely going to be continuing their winning streak. Well, only time will definitely tell. We'll catch up with the contestants themselves and find out how they're going to prepare to make that dream a reality at the nationals. Anthony, how does it feel?
So marvelous, because we wasn't expecting to sail through. It's all by the grace of God.
Why weren't you expecting to sail through?
Because you see, the ones who was giving us some false contests, they were trying to compete us, but God being our savior, we sail through.
I see. So it was definitely a difficult contest for you. Let me ask Adrian. Adrian, how did it go for you?
Okay, actually, I would say initially my boys did everything, but all I was expecting them to do was to blow initially, so that when I come, I won't get stressed. But intentionally, it didn't go that way. But with God, all things are possible.
So that's a wrap from the Western region. Let's take you to Brekum now for what happened there too.
Wisdom
before riches.
Wisdom
Before riches.
Congratulations to you guys. I know it hasn't been easy. This is your first time qualifying to the national stage. How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel?
I'm feeling so... I don't even know how to explain this. I'm really happy.
You're really happy. So were you expecting to actually win the contest? Because
100% sure. This year is our year.
This year?
Into nationals.
You're coming to nationals. So what should we expect from you coming to the nationals?
100%. We are coming.
We should do it. You should tell them that you are coming. But somebody would argue that given your performance, you had 16.
If even we have won with, let's say, 2 points, we still have been there. We are going to improve it.
You have been training the students. They tell me you've had some sleepless nights, and today you have seen something. Fusion.
As you said with their scores, that was not what I was expecting, though. But looking at the time, the material that we had in preparation, I think we've done well. And being the first time of qualifying to the national is also, an additional, I would say, additional motivation.
Well, so from the Western region, Bomper denied my school, Bedu Bonso, from qualifying. But we'll be back next year. Watch out for us. And that's how we wrap up today's edition. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. On behalf of my team, please, thank you for being with us. Up next is Prime Business with Pius Kojo Baka.